How about that bag that Jerry Jones just gave CeeDee Lamb? He's an all-pro wide receiver. CeeDee Lamb reportedly reached an agreement today on a record 4-year, $136 million deal, second highest paid non-quarterback in NFL history.
A lot of you guys have been messaging me on the X and on Instagram telling me that this breaking news officially happened, so I immediately ran to my room to make a video on this because it's fairly significant news, and I don't really know how I can articulate my emotions about this, because on one hand, I feel like this could have been handled significantly better. On the other hand, I feel like they could have made this way worse. So before we get to the content, make sure you drop like, subscribe, and turn on our notifications to help the channel grow. Now that we get all that out of the way, break. NFL season's finally here, and PrizePicks is hooking us up fat with a brand new deal. New users that make a lineup of $5 get $50 guaranteed. All you have to do is go to the link in the description down below, download PrizePicks, create an account, and use my promo code Mikerophone to get $50 guaranteed when you make a lineup of $5 or more. I give away my picks each and every day on my Instagram account @TheFlightMike, and thank you PrizePicks for the sponsor. Mic check 1 2 1 2. What's going on, everybody? The CeeDee Lamb contract negotiation was one of the most stressful contract negotiations I think I've ever seen or experienced as a Cowboy fan, because through it all, we saw Jerry Jones play this gigantic game of chicken and bluff, and he was just really bad at doing it. It's like having that one buddy at your weekly poker game that consistently goes all in and bluffs when he clearly doesn't have a good hand, so at a specific point, you just know to call his bluff each and every time. That's kind of what it felt like watching Jerry Jones make the moves he made. And meanwhile, you have the Philadelphia Eagles just making masterful moves, whether it's huge splash acquisitions like Saquon Barkley and Bryce Huff, bringing alongside Vic Fangio, or even the smaller acquisitions like trading for Jahan Dotson, or extending Devontae Smith prematurely at a very reasonable price before extending their wide receiver one before this crazy frenzy of wide receiver contracts came out. So as a Cowboy fan, when you're watching the Eagles make all these moves, and in the meantime, you're watching Jerry Jones take his sweet time extending his best players and waiting till the very last moment to do so, only to say this when he's interviewed about it.
We are so involved in trying to see where we are with our situations, that is a major part of seeing the leaves fall, seeing the time go by, seeing this day and this week, how they go by. I have, in my life, played option quarterback so many times and wait until the last leaf on the tree. And if you want to picture an pure option quarterback going out to the sideline, I have run that ball and kept it and not hand it off to the back, not pitch it back, not throw it. And I have run that thing all the way out to the sideline before I made the decision, because I couldn't get whatever it took to. It wasn't right for me to make the decision. And so what our fans, what you're seeing, what we deal with is we're buying time. We're option quarterbacking, and we're going on out towards the sideline, and we haven't handed it off. We haven't pitched it. We're trying to make our mind up what to do. Does that sound like Mahomes to you? A little bit? Okay. It do.
Then obviously Cowboy fans are going to be extremely disgruntled. I mean, it's like we've seen this movie over and over again. This team could very well be a Super Bowl contender if their players weren't paid as much as they were, and if the Cowboys brought along a general manager that understood how the salary cap worked in 2024. Now, regardless, Jerry Jones continued to play chicken and bluff throughout the summer. At some point, it got so bad that Cowboy players got really upset. The last time we made a video on this topic, he came out and said this.
I don't have a sense of urgency about getting it done.
It's a long
CeeDee Lamb just took a screenshot of John Machota's tweet about this and just said LOL. Micah Parsons retweeted it. At a specific point, this became very much unnecessary, and it was only a matter of time before the Cowboys extended CeeDee Lamb. But there was a huge question of how much CeeDee Lamb deserved to be paid. If you paid him in March, then you probably could have gotten away with paying him $30 million. But I like to think that the Cowboys front office isn't as incompetent as I make them out to be. I mean, mean, you don't have to be a genius to know that the sooner you extend your star wide receiver, the better. I would like to think that the Cowboys would understand this principle and try to get to work right away on extending CeeDee Lamb. And in this case, while in the past I have said that I believe that the Cowboys are being stupid in delaying this contract extension as much as humanly possible, I do think there's a good possibility that it was CeeDee Lamb's camp delaying this as much as possible. Knowing that Justin Jefferson is in your draft class and he's up for a contract extension might have played a hand in CeeDee delaying this as much as he possibly could. And a part of me even believes that this goes all the way to Brandon Ayuk. I believe at a specific point, there may have been a gigantic game of chicken being played between CeeDee Lamb and Brandon Ayuk to see who could be the final wide receiver paid, because that's a measuring stick for each wide receiver to determine the correct amount to get paid. So just going based off of that assumption, there's only one way that the Cowboys really could have this up, and it's either not paying CeeDee Lamb and trading him, which would have just pushed this team to a gigantic rebuild. It would have resulted in a bunch of disgruntled fans. You could kiss any playoff hopes goodbye, which even though I don't think the Cowboys are Super Bowl contenders, I do think they are wild card playoff contenders, and that's clearly something that the Jones family wouldn't want to do. The only other way you could have really screwed this up is if you paid CeeDee Lamb more than Justin Jefferson, which fortunately they didn't. According to Ian Rappaport, the Dallas Cowboys and all-pro wide receiver CeeDee Lamb agreed on a massive 4-year extension worth $136 million per Ian Rappaport and Tom Pelissaro. And according to Adam Schefter, this makes him the second highest paid non-QB in NFL history. The deal includes a $38 million signing bonus, which is the largest ever given to a wide receiver. To the Cowboys' credit, they got this done before Brandon Ayuk signed an extension with the 49ers and Jamar Chase signed an extension with the Bengals, although Jamar Chase technically could wait another year before signing his extension, and I think that's probably what's the most likely thing to happen. But if you take a look at all the wide receivers to sign contract extensions throughout the offseason, I mean, Justin Jefferson, DJ Moore, Amon-Ra St. Brown, AJ Brown, Jalen Waddle, Nico Collins, Devontae Smith, Michael Pittman Jr., Calvin Ridley, Jerry Jeudy, and now we have Jamar Chase and Brandon Ayuk up next. And although I'm happy that CeeDee finally got paid, the one major area of concern I have now is whether or not the Cowboys could retain Micah Parsons. You see, if you were to pay Dak Prescott and make him the highest paid quarterback in the NFL, which despite what a lot of fans want to say about Dak Prescott, he very well could demand it, and he does deserve it based off of his body of work in the regular season. And then you have CeeDee Lamb that's getting paid $34 million a year annually, and then next year you need to pay Micah Parsons a contract that is at least close to what Nick Bosa is getting paid, which is $35 million a year annually. Then you have this problem where you allocated about 67% of the projected salary cap space to those three players. And that's not a way to build a contending football team. Now, is it out of the realm of possibility for Dak Prescott to take a pay cut? I don't think so. I mean, you've seen it happen recently, and this isn't Dak Prescott's first contract extension. I don't think so. Typically, a quarterback is completely closed-minded to taking a pay cut whenever they have their first big contract extension. But whenever it comes to their second big contract, usually there'll be a little bit more wiggle room for the quarterback to take a massive pay cut. That coupled with the fact that there is a recent shift in players understanding that they can put their teams in contention to win Super Bowls or championships by taking pay cuts. Now, I'm not saying that Dak is a horrible human being if he asks for $60 or $65 million a year from the Dallas Cowboys. I could also understand taking that path and trying to earn as much as you possibly can, especially because football isn't forever. But Dak has been on record saying that he doesn't need to be the highest paid QB in the NFL. Going all the way back in April, Dak Prescott said, "No, I'm not trying to be the highest paid QB necessarily. We'll wait until the negotiations begin, and obviously, I want to put this team in the best possible situation." At the same time, Dak can make a significant amount of money this offseason if he signs an extension and also provide the Cowboys with some salary cap relief. But in the future, he can make even more. I mean, listen to what Troy Aikman had to say about him.
Dak Prescott. I do believe he's going to be the first quarterback to $60 million. And
from Jerry or somewhere else?
That's the question. And the longer this goes, the more I think he will be playing somewhere else. If it continues to drag on and he plays great, and then the Cowboys come in late to say, hey, now we want to pay you, I don't know where his head will be at that point.
Regardless, I'm very thankful that the Dallas Cowboys didn't screw this up, because it could have been way, way worse. Jerry Jones has already proven to me that he is really terrible at projecting the landscape of the NFL. I mean, if you guys forget, Jerry Jones thought that the salary cap was actually going to decrease because of the NFL Sunday Ticket lawsuit.
Because I feel like when you look at cap, you need to have a feel of where the revenue is going to be down the road. I feel like I know better than anybody living. I've got a feel for what the revenue is going to be 4 or 5, 6 years from now than anybody living. I've spent all this time doing that, and I understand it. And if you don't understand what the revenue is going to be, then you can't look ahead and see what the cap is going to be. I've got a better feel, I think, than anybody, because I have a sense of what revenues might be for the whole league 4, 5, 6 years from now. And so that if you see me optimistic, then you must know that I think it's pretty good. If you see me a little cautious, you must know that I'm being cautious. I mean, I'm quick to be repeated. But I didn't add that the other day, but I'm the best at looking around corners. Now, I don't know what that is. But as far as body language and instincts, I'm better than anybody.
But only for the $4.7 billion judgment to get overturned against the NFL. So let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section down below. On top of that, we have some breaking news about Juju Smith-Schuster. We might get a double upload day to you guys. It might be up already. I'll leave a link to it in the end screen if it already is. And aside from that, I'm your boy Mike, and I'm dropping our mic until our next upload.